Welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He is my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Then you won't miss any of our reviews. We're currently reviewing Married at First Sight, so make sure you check that out as well. Season 12 has just started, and we're very excited. But today is for Ready to Love.
So make sure you hit that subscribe button.
And that bell notification.
So you can keep up with all of our episodes. And if you like audiobooks, make sure you click the link in the description for a free 30-day trial from Audible.
Also, if you like shopping online, make sure you hit the Rakuten link, also in the description.
And you get what?
A $10 credit.
All right. Now, Ready to Love reunion. Okay. Off the chain.
Off the chain.
I'm so mad it's 2 parts. I need it all tonight. I needed it all in one.
You gotta have it slow.
No, I wanted it all together.
You gotta have it slow.
It's packed though, because we left this one with some. Woo-wee.
It was like the old country, been the country. Got some kindling, and the fires just started.
Yeah, man.
And we're gonna get a blazing bonfire maybe next week.
It's gonna be full blaze.
Full blaze.
But they started us off with a Whopper.
Yeah.
So all the contestants are there. First of all, they brought everybody back. Everybody came back, and Tommy talks to Miss Alicia.
Yeah.
And she says, you know, so Alicia, it turns out you were ready to love, and you got some proof of it,
and got a bun in the oven that still has some more time to be cooking.
Alicia. Like, I told my husband, she ain't waste no time. She was on the show, didn't find nobody. I feel like this is probably somebody she knew before that she might have interacted with. Or else she found somebody real fast and got pregnant real fast. Like, honey.
It's 3 months after the reunion. It's 3 months after the show ended. So it's 3 months later. Look, Alicia was ready to love. Just wasn't any other contestants. Because Tommy asked, is it one of these guys up here?
And it's not.
And it's funny because I knew this was coming. I ain't the pappy.
I'm that baby daddy.
I'm that baby daddy.
I'm the pappy.
I'm the pappy.
Oh, so
Jiggling.
But she said it's nobody from the show, which is good, I guess.
Yeah. But he's a good businessman.
Yeah, she's a good, nice, loving businessman that she got. So
to go with her other kids that she have in the home.
Right. Because remember, Alicia which she talks about later when they talk to David. She's the only one on there with the only contestant that had younger kids.
Yeah.
So she got another one on the way. She wasn't finished growing her family.
No.
So next from Alicia, we transitioned to somebody she talked to for a minute. They went to Brian, Mr. Makeup Words and Hummina.
Pro-con. He liked to make
say, what's the pros and cons? You probably call it prawns.
Prawns. But he liked to make up words. But I liked Brian. I liked Alicia. I thought Brian came on the show looking for love, but I guess he couldn't, as he said, when he talked, he couldn't be honest. He couldn't be open. He couldn't be forthright. He couldn't really express himself the way that he needed to express himself, and which got him in trouble. And later on, because Alex said it to you, you couldn't really show your emotion. I want somebody who jokes, but you didn't know when to joke and not to joke. Yeah.
Tommy asked them, do you feel like Brian was like kind of just playing the game, or did he have a way with words? And they said he had a way with words. Alicia said in the end she feels like Brian made the best decision for him when it came to their relationship or whatever they're starting, but she feels like he could have kept it more 100.
Yeah.
And he says, looking back, he would have been more blunt and upfront.
Yeah.
And not pity pat with his words, or not be straightforward with Alicia and say, thank you for the invite. I'm not gonna come back to your room tonight.
I'm feeling Alex.
It's somebody else I want to go see. Instead of trying not to hurt her feelings, because he hurt her feelings more by not being upfront.
But that was one of his things, though. You go back to the previous episode, you go back to earlier episodes when Brian was on, he said he didn't like hurting people's feelings. So he would do that as a defense mechanism to kind of make it ease it in to help people out.
Yeah.
Which didn't work well for him because it got him booted. We also find out him and Alex had a conversation or two afterwards and tried to kick it. But she said she dropped a bombshell that she heard rumors and situations that Brian had a kid on the way.
Yes. and Brian called that fake news. He said, that I'm not going to talk about something that is alleged or supposed, because if you don't have any facts or proof or can't provide evidence, then it's nothing to talk about. And Alex was like, well, that's why it's called alleged. But he said it's fake news. He doesn't have a baby. And I want to add that Brian, they talked about how he joked and kind of brought humor in the situation, with which Alex liked at first. She liked the humor and the charmingness of him, but she just felt like he would inject it at the wrong time. And so he said, well, it is kind of a defense mechanism for him at a time. He just likes to kind of, you know.
But it was the wrong. But I think the one that really set her off was when she talked about her being abused.
Because what he said was that I think people take my joking out of context when you come into an experience with your experience and you look through it, your lens. You look through it with your lens. And she talked about.
I mean, she did look at it through it. Hold on. She looked through his lens, but at that time, he got to realize and understand moments. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm looking through it with my lens, she's opening up. I think believe that week was being vulnerable, opening up, sharing. Absolutely. And so she opened up and shared to him, and he just dismissed it. And we saw later on when she opened up to Rashid and shared that with him, it was a difference. Mm-hmm. And I know people come from different experiences, different backgrounds, and handle news differently. But just as out of a man respect, there should have been a, man, dang, I'm sorry to hear that. At least that. Yeah, because he said she was guarded, but that was proof that she was trying to let her guard down and be vulnerable. And he missed the moment. He missed the moment. He couldn't read through that because she was letting the walls down by sharing with her. That's something most people, you know, when you're getting to know somebody, whether you've been abused physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally, when you share that with somebody that you're dating, that is really letting them into who you are. And he didn't catch it. And he didn't understand it. Rashid caught it. And Brian just didn't. And it's something he missed. He can't go back and change it, but
he did apologize.
Yeah, he apologized. He did apologize for it.
That it wasn't the moment. He missed the moment or whatever.
He missed the moment.
But so we go from there. We go to talk about Winter and Jay and the Simone situation. More things get misconstrued, miscommunication. How Simone actually, what we found out was they kind of had a square, but it was Jay and three women. It was Jay, Winter, Simone, and Joy.
Right.
And Simone said basically, Jay was saying some things to me off camera that he wasn't exactly expressing to other people. And so when I came into it, I was like, well, I'm not going to be your little side piece, your dirty little secret.
Nah, hold on, stop right there. Money Mayweather.
Mayweather
Diggs, Jay. He was, and I don't say he was being dirty, he was playing the game. The game was to try to find love. And this is where the beginning, and maybe I'm wrong with my timelines, but he was trying to find love in every avenue. So he talked to Joy, he talked to Winter, he talked to Simone, and there was probably not enough hours in the day where he was trying to play, and I don't want to use the word play. He was trying to figure out, play each one of them and try to figure out who he wanted to be with, because it is a competition. And so he wanted to be publicly out there with Joy. We saw later he did a little sneakiness with Winter because they would talk off camera, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. He had a little conversation. He has conversations and private conversations with Simone. And so what happened was he's trying to get to know at the beginning part of this game which one he really want to be with. We knew he had an issue with Simone. He was dealing with Simone until the fact that she went there and like, you know what? She dropped the dime that he went into Winter's room with no shirt on. Then that's when he lost interest in Simone.
But the point that you're making. Yeah, they all knew they were in this game, this competition. It's a dating thing. And the thing about it is, it's okay to be upfront and be like, I'm talking to this one and this one. And that was the problem that Simone had with it. If Joy is your main, because it really did come across like I'm a side piece. So everybody knows about Joy, but nobody knows about me, and nobody knows how deep it is with Winter. In this competition, almost the same thing that they got on Brian about. You know, if you was so much about Alex, then let Alicia know that I'm not going to hang out with you. And so Jay should have been like, you know what? I got y'all 3 on my plate. But and Jay, right now, Joy is at the head of the pack.
But Jay wanted to hang out with all 3. And Simone, in this instance, allowed herself to be a secret because when it was time to dismiss Simone, or when Simone was talking, no one really knew that her and Jay had that deep of a connection, because even when they showed the clips, some people was like, they were surprised that they thought she was lying. She like
Winter said it. Winter said when Simone came to her and was like, me and Jay got this going on, Winter said straight up, I thought she was lying. Until they showed these never before seen clips of them like really hanging out, hanging tough. And what Winter was like, what dag? And that's the problem I had with it. He was telling this all of them the same thing. That's the problem that Simone expressed here and Winter expressed as well. You're telling us all the same thing, but you're putting Joy up front in the cameras.
That's not his job to put in the camera. Production put that in the camera.
No, all they said they had a lot of. Winter said a lot of the conversations that she and Jay had were off camera.
I blame her. And then.
Well, she said she took the blame for it. She said I would, if I had it to do again, I would not have let it be like that. Like, I wouldn't have invested so much time in it, and I wouldn't have let him kind of play me second fiddle. I wouldn't have done that.
Right, but again, you have those conversations on camera during the production times, during the times that you guys supposed to meet and interact. You interject yourself, like Simone did earlier. She told Jay, "Come here," in the earlier episodes to put him on. So I kind of blame her a little bit because she is a Winter, because she allowed herself to get dragged to that 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock conversations with Jay late nights, and then wake up 6 hours later, and he's in Winter's face, or he's dealing with Simone and not really playing her. She felt second fiddle. Joy's face, sorry, and she put herself in that situation. Now, not saying that she's weak or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying but she had to be able to say, you know what? Then she realized, now I'm not in this situation. I should have did it differently.
Yeah.
But Jay was having his cake and eating it too. He wanted to see which one of these would I gravitate to, which one of these would I stay close to, which one of these could I feel and have emotions to. And I said earlier, Simone was like, hey, when Simone told Winter and Jay about what Joy and Jay, what she saw, and went to win, that what made Jay like, you know what, I can't deal with you because you talk too much.
Right, and she said she wasn't trying to be messy. And they had the whole conversation about when Joy brought it up in the company too. Joy said she wasn't trying to be messy. And in the end, what it was, Simone said, I was just trying to help him be upfront about what he was doing. I wasn't trying to be messy, but I want you to know, hey, you got this stuff going on undercover. And that took a whole nother turn when they was talking about it, because Joy and Winter, they cool. And Simone was like, well, whatever y'all do as sister wives, y'all do what y'all do. That was hilarious.
But it was hilarious, but it's also to the point where if Simone was really into Jay, she should have said something to Jay. Hey, I saw you in Winter's room with no shirt on. What's going on? She didn't have to run back and tell Joy that. No. If she was Jay's little secret, she could have kept that would be her.
But that's what she's saying.
Right. But
she didn't do it like that because she was tired of it being a little secret. So if I take Jay to the side and I say it to him, again, she said she said it in that space basically so that he could, to give him a chance to say something. Because this is the thing. If I pull you to the side and I say something, you're going to try to coddle me. You're going to try to downplay it, and nobody knows about it. And so it doesn't make you have to be honest, because nobody hears the conversation. So she said that's why she did it, because she wanted to. I wanted to give him a chance. No.
And then he never really said that. He was more at the Simone for the fact that she said something. And now you got Winter, who really didn't do anything wrong, because she tried to have a conversation. They just came from the pool. And Wade, she's like, oh, he didn't have no shirt on. She's like, I'm grown, dog. if he wanted to come in, we're adults. So if he wanted to come in there, because Simone made this statement, if he had a shirt on, I wouldn't have said anything.
Right, that's what she said.
And when it was like, why that makes any difference? We're all grown here.
And you made it sound like he was like half naked, like he just didn't have his shirt on.
Right.
He wasn't half naked. But yeah, I don't. That whole interaction.
Again, Jay sat there quietly, didn't really defend himself.
He really didn't.
It didn't say
the
anything.
one thing he did when they was like kind of going in, Tommy tried to interrupt the conversation.
Joy was heated.
Joy was heated, and Jay looks at her and tells her, "Relax your face. Relax your face." She said, "I can't.
I can't."
She said, "I can't relax my face."
Because at that
she
point,
was warm. She was warm about that thing.
She was warm about that thing in that moment, and they was going back and forth, and then we see Simone breaking a little bit of tears.
And then, which I thought Simone took this a whole lot better than I did sitting in my living room watching it. When Joy was like, she says, after this, you gonna have to give Simone, because Simone got choked up, kind of teary about the whole situation, reliving it again.
Yeah.
And she walked away, she got up from the couch to go get herself together. And so Joy says, after this, you're going to have to give Simone an Oscar. And then she said, no, I'm just trying to make light, Simone. I'm trying to,
Simone to the
just trying to lighten the mood and make you laugh. But I didn't take it that way. I was like, well, if that ain't funny to me. Because they had just finished saying, or the people on the stage, or I think that's what it was. They talked about, oh yeah, Simone cried at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Like I'm an actress. Like my tip, and I can say that because
you cried at the drop of a hat.
But I'm an actress, so I can do that. I mean, and I'm saying literally an actress. I've done plays.
Yeah.
I've done plays and stuff. So I've had to cry at the drop of a hat. So I have felt like in situations when I'm really crying, people don't think it's real because I can put it on there. Mm-hmm. So I can relate to Simone like, no, I'm really crying. I'm upset. Don't do that. Don't do that. But Simone took it in a good way, and she came back and she was like, I didn't want it to go down like this. I didn't want this to be like this. And, her and Joy made up. And she said, can I have a hug?
Yeah, they hugged it out.
She hugged it out because she said they didn't really want it to be like that. And Tommy jokes and says, so what are y'all sister wives now?
Yeah. Which is understand, they're grown people. This conversation, once again, there will be emotions involved because they're emotional people, because you're there to find love. Mm-hmm. And now you're investing time and energy and conversation into this man who you want to love, and he's investing time in you, but then also he's investing time in somebody else. And in this case, he's investing time in somebody else. And so you are never in the forefront. You're the one that he sees late in the midnight hour. He's the one that he calls, whenever he needs something. Again, don't be the secret. Don't message.
And that's what I was about to say. To me, the way she talked about it, it really, really did put you in the mind of the married man with his mistress. Yeah. And then, for Jay to get mad, we had a pact. You don't tell my wife I'm doing. You can't be calling my house.
Look, when you're in those love triangles and love squares, you put too much trust in the other person not to say nothing or catch feelings.
Too much trust. But anyway, from there, Tommy talked to David. We talked about David and his mishaps with his conversation that he was trying to express, and the finger in Joy's face.
And he apologized, man. We all know that he didn't mean nothing. Some Southern men, people in general talk with their hands.
But I feel like it wasn't even really in her face.
It was
like he pointed at her, but it really wasn't in her face. But he said that he really felt like he was just misunderstood, and he really didn't get a fair chance to explain himself. And so Tommy gave him a chance to explain himself. And, the Calfani interjected because Tommy asked, if you've dealt with a lady with children before, how does that go? And Calfani was like, you realize that when you're dating this woman or serious about this woman and she has kids, they're a total package. You can't eliminate the kids from the package. And so what David explained was, that's what I was saying. What he was talking about was when we're first getting into a relationship, I'm trying to deal with you and see if we're serious enough before we get to the point where I deal with your kids.
Yeah.
And so what he was saying was that, I'm dating you, but you talking about taking care of your kids. Like, I don't even know you that well. You want me to be a daddy? And it just didn't come across like that, because Alicia said when I talked to you about that, I was talking about when we get to that point. So the wires was just crossed
up.
They was
we'll
crossed.
get to that point. And not knowing that she might already had a bun in the oven that was somebody else's. Look, it's just
that was after the fact. Don't do that.
Look, let's do the math. If she do the math, she might have already been.
But we don't know how far along she is. She said she got a good little ways.
We don't know how far along. I'm hypothetically speaking, she might have been pregnant at the time she asked that question. And so David might have been like, hold on, dog, you ain't pinning this one on me. I ain't the pappy. But no. But I understand where she was coming from too, which because of the was miscommunication.
Yeah.
He thought she was talking about now, and she was talking about the future, and didn't relay that to him properly, which eventually got him sent home. And Joy was like, "No, they didn't get him sent home. That's what got him sent home."
Yeah, it did.
Because they had that conversation about David. Not that he didn't have any connections, because people like David. You know, they enjoy David. But that whole situation, like, oh girl, he said what? He did what? That sent David home.
But the one thing that they said too, Alicia was like, well, David's been to my house since the show. Everybody's like, oh,
that's what it meant.
Oh, you the pappy.
You the pappy.
You are the pappy, but it wasn't like that.
And he hung out and they talked and they had conversations. So.
Yeah, and Tommy said along those lines, he noticed that David was getting a lot of love on social media. Yeah. How you feeling about that? And David said, I really wasn't expecting that. It's been pretty good, getting the love on social media. And he asked or talked about, well, are you getting love from anybody, the castmates? And he was like, well, yeah, me and Alex, we hung out a few times. We hung out a few times, and it was like, well, are you interested? And they was like, Joy's like, go ahead, do it, David. Put it out there, go ahead. And so
David,
he turned to David, David turned to Alex, which they're conveniently sitting on the couch. The camera's right there.
But I'm looking into your eyes right now. I'm looking into your eyes right now. I want to know, are you interested in me? Can we pursue this a little bit further?
I'm interested in finishing this review.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were interested in me. We wanted to pursue a little further.
You play too many games, but yes. And so Alex said, yes, I am. I'm interested. And when it went to the commercial break, they had to talk about, where they want to go on their next date or whatever. So I thought that was cute, because I liked David and I like Alex.
Yeah.
And I can see that pairing. I can see them
together. I can see them hanging out.
So that was cute.
Because I
always like to take stuff off track.
Those two were kind of from the same place, same little country town. Oh, you talking about me?
I always like to get off track.
I'm not on track. I'm always interested in you. I want you to be more interested in me. And so let's be interested in each other together.
Yes, I think they said they were from like the same kind of little town or area or whatever. So anyway, let's go to Winter and Anthony.
Winter Anthony. Yes, Winter and Anthony. What Winter said she liked about Anthony because they compliment each other.
They had a complimentary sense of humor, which is
kind of what we got.
He's really trying. I don't know why he's doing this.
That's kind of what we got. Go ahead.
This time. But she felt like he was very genuine. And he cared. He showed that he cared, and it made her feel safe. She felt safe in his space.
Yeah, she felt real safe with Anthony. We know that Anthony was a good, fun-loving guy. And Tommy asked, when did you guys actually, start connecting? He was talking about, after him and Denise situation. He had Denise and Winter was on his radar, and that Winter just started to step up. Winter gained, just have a conversation. The conversation was good. The humor was good. And he also, and I know he didn't say, but in the back of his mind, he also knew that Denise had a thing for California.
Yeah. But Tommy said, so asked how had things been going since they left the resort. And we find out that Winter and Anthony had taken a break from each other because they had a heated conversation about finances. Anthony said it kind of took him back to a past relationship. And Winter said it in a nice way where Anthony's a passionate speaker. So basically, when it took him there, he kind of raised his voice and, and she didn't really care for that too much.
And I can relate to that. I am a passionate speaker. My voice. Me
too, but
my voice rise at times, and not in a yelling way or a fussing way. My voice is rising. It seems like I'm always arguing or fussing, but I'm not arguing or fussing. I'm just passionate about what I'm saying. And so sometimes when you're dealing with some women, you have to be gentle, and you have to be able to, your tone, pitch, and voice has to be accentuated in the conversation so people can receive it properly. And so that's one of the things that, Anthony has to learn. That's something I had to learn. It's about tone, pitch, and voice. And so when you do that, it's not that you're attacking your mate or attacking your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever. It's that you're having a conversation and allowing them to know that you're passionate. And they said they didn't understand each other, but then they happened to meet each other up again.
After they hadn't talked to each other for a while.
And Winter said she realized that she had to think about what he said, and they were kind of both at fault.
Yeah, she had to commit to listening and understanding his point of view.
Yeah.
Because unlike Winter, like I'm a passionate speaker, sometimes too, and I, try to drive my point. She seems like she's more, I hate to say it like this, more Southern bellish and, just...
Even killed.
And so it probably did have her clutching her pearls. But they were able to come back. She says, I had to understand where he was coming from and really listen to him and understand his point of view. Yeah. And so I feel like we're in a better space now.
And they're working it out. And they've been talking more. They've been interacting more.
Because I really liked them together.
They've been together more. So I don't want to say they separate. I don't want to say they're not together. I want to say they're together but working on their relationship.
Right, which is pretty much what they said. Yeah. So, speaking of... miscommunications and tangles and stuff like that. Tommy said, I heard everything is bigger in Texas, and so apparently that applies to entanglements too. Yeah. Because we didn't just have a love triangle, we had a love square.
We had a love square, and we talking about Edwin, Joy, Jay, and Winter.
Yes.
Winter Wonderland. The four-way. We saw them early in the season where you saw they all had this little dinner. They met with each other on the little on the lake. On the lake where you had Joy's best friend and Winter's friend, and they was talking to Jay and them. But we also saw, and I kind of disagree, it was a square, but Edwin got kicked out of that square a little bit down the line.
Yeah.
Him and Winter wasn't kicking it as much as they had been in the past, but it was more Edwin and Joy and Jay that was in this little situation because Edwin really liked Joy. And he really was in tune and attached to Joy. And Jay was attached to Winter. But it was, again, the kiss on the cheek was what did Winter in.
Yeah.
Because it was like, this is your opportunity. This is your chance to show me. I've been asking you, where do I lie on your scale? You know what I'm saying? Am I number one, number two? Where am I at on your scale? And so you've been telling me Joy was your number one, so I'm giving you opportunity to let me step up, and you kiss me on the cheek.
Yeah.
I ain't 12.
She said she felt some type of way when it happened, and even watching it again, she felt some type of way like, dag, like you really just you did me like that, which was almost kind of funny because Joy said that Jay and Edwin was kind of running neck and neck. Edwin brought the more romantic side. And when she looked at it, she said that Jay was less romantic, but they had more personal communication, like one-to-one stuff. And Jay was like, that's
because no harm, no fouls. I can see that because with Edwin, she felt more like a therapist.
Yeah.
And with Jay, she felt the more personal connection, and where, you know what, we can get this thing together. And Edwin, I mean, let's be honest, Edwin did he put his best foot forward with the dancing, the yoga, and, got a little touchy-feely, but he did do his thing, and Joey told that to Jay, like, you might want to step your game up.
But Edwin did say the one thing that he would change is he would be more consistent. He would have put in more effort, he would have put in more consistency, and because he realized his thing with Joy was Joy means good in all that she does, and so that's why he really valued, which he said in one of the episode before he left, that she was just a good person and wanted the best for him. So she appreciated that. He appreciated that.
He appreciated her and appreciated that, and so that's where their line at, their triangle, square, whatever you want to call it, was that Joy really she was on the fence. Jay really wasn't on the fence. Jay, because Winter asked him the question. Even though he said he was. Winter asked him the question. He was like, okay, if you had not left and this situation hadn't happened to Joy, where were you leaning? And he said, I didn't want to deal in the past. I made the decision that I made, and I'm moving on with it. and basically.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, you told me, you know, that you had to go be with her. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, are you talking about the conversation on the bench? And we all saw that. That was in the episode. But I think they had another conversation.
Right,
that
which is...
Winter does not want to divulge.
Right. Winter alluded to saying that the conversation you had with me, you wasn't all that firm with Joy.
Yeah.
That I might have still had a chance, and Jay really kind of tried to blow that off again.
And Joy,
don't be saying that in front of the wife.
Joy, I like you. You watch it because she was like, "No, let her finish."
Yeah, I want to hear what Winter has to say.
I want to hear what Winter has to say. The dog, I don't want to. You cool? That's fine. We all right, but let Winter finish her thought.
Because Winter said it was cool for her to watch those broadcasted scenes of her and Jay, and how he walking in the hall at 118, she come behind at 121, 140 something, he walking in the hallway, she coming at 150, and he said to her, you know, how about we meet later and have a talk under the stars like we had before, you know. And so she said that was cool, and you know, you could see Joy kind of like, oh, okay, because when they said never before seen,
nobody knew this.
They did not know this.
Yeah, so no one knew. So therefore, it been opening some things up in the reunion that if Joy and Jay still together, there's some conversations that need to be had.
Yeah.
I know we're still together now, but dog, you done lied all the time, or you screwed the situation between you and Winter.
Yeah.
Where it was much more.
And so while we're talking about Jay and Joy's connection, you know, Tommy brought up the fact that Joy having to leave because her sister passed away, and how that was a very emotional time, and the fact that Jay left to be there with her. She said she appreciated the support.
Yeah.
He came to the service, and you know, she was really moved and touched by that.
Because he didn't have to do it. That's put a notch in his belt. He didn't have to do that, but that showed his commitment to Joy, and that's why Winter was like, okay, you cool. I know what you love. I know who you love. I know you love Joy, and that's fine because I got somebody over here, Anthony, and I'm gonna pursue this a little bit more. And it made things clearer for her. Yes,
and it made things clear for Edwin to the point where he said I realized, you know, I had this connection with Joy, but she's got it more with Jay, and it's nobody else that I was trying to talk to. So
nobody else. So he knew that when Joy left, he knew his game was done. And that cleared the picture for a lot of people. With Jay leaving and Joy leaving and Edwin leaving. It opened the door for Anthony to slide in and make things less complicated for Winter to go ahead and accept Anthony for who he was and keep that relationship together.
But the bombshell of the night.
The bomb diggity diggity dog.
The bombshell of the night.
Drop the bomb.
So again, in sharing that Joy's sister passed away.
Yeah.
And the never before scene when Tommy was breaking it to everybody, because we wondered about this. When everybody was in the room, you know, Denise looked kind of emotional, like she already knew what was going on. And so what we didn't see when the show broadcast, that Denise said, you know, before Joy left, she wanted me to tell you all, you know, to hang in there, and how much she appreciates all y'all, and we hope you find love, and you know, keep doing what you're doing.
Not that, but she proceeded to call each person by name.
She didn't call the girl; she called the guys.
Each guy by their name. Like Joy wanted Jay, and now, mind you, they're thinking she having this conversation, and with Denise, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, are they roommates? I never saw them that close on the show.
Right.
Maybe they were rooms next to each other. So Denise went to console her when she found out. But then we knew from previous episode that Jay had said he was with her from the time that she knew to the time that she left. And this is where Joy comes in, like, you know, I thank all y'all for the support. I think this family, we're good together. You know, and Denise is great, you know, but what
she said, I did not craft that message.
No, I didn't craft that.
When did I have time to craft that message? Between finding out my sister passed and getting ready to leave, I didn't have time to craft that message.
Because if you remember, we saw Joy crying and really being consoled, and then not having time to gather herself together.
Yes.
And so she's right. When did she have the time to get that message to Denise, to broadcast to everyone? But Denise got on that soapbox and she broadcast that message. She had people crying because of that message. And Calfani felt like he's like, hold on.
Yeah, because what Denise's response was, I wanted Joy to express herself through me.
What?
And Jay was like, if she wanted to say something, she say it herself. She ain't got to send no message through you. And then later on, we see the guys talking, and Rashid was like, and Chris said too, if she wanted to deliver a message, why would it come through Denise? It would have came through Jay.
It would have
so
came through Jay.
It looked kind of funny anyway. Rashid was like, I was like, wow, I didn't know they was cool like that.
Nobody did. And so she came and it seemed like she was making a gameplay, or it seemed like she just was like, I'm taking it on myself. This is what Joy said. Dog, you're being filmed. So it's going to be brought up. Somebody's going to be like, hey, hold on, I didn't say that. They're going to watch the show like, hey, I didn't say that.
But Denise tried to, in her defense, she said, I called you, Joy, afterwards, and I told you, that I had given the people a message. And Joy was like, nah, you ain't tell me you said it like that.
You said it like that.
That I had told you to tell them so-and-so, because I didn't tell you to tell them nothing.
Yeah, so it didn't look good for Denise.
Nah, it don't look good.
It don't look good for Denise at all, because people had their feelings and emotions, and Tommy even said it was inappropriate.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that? Why would you say that? Because now you got the show thinking one way, you got the contestants thinking one way, and you're broke up crying. That's not good.
No.
That's not.
And so I think the boo-boo gonna really hit the fan.
Yeah.
Next week on the second part. Because apparently that cuckoo, that jealous, that envy, that whatever is going on with Denise is getting ready to come out some more.
It's going to come out some more, and we see a lot of different things that transpired. You will get to see KG Smooth or Chris and Nia, that situation that happened with them. You get to see we get to see Kalfani and Adriana and Denise. So we probably hear from Rashid a little bit more, which we didn't hear from in this episode on the couch, except for what we heard backstage. You get to see you hear from Nia again. So you'll get to hear from a lot of people that we didn't hear from in the past episode. So it'd be interesting to see how part 2 differs from part 1, because there's still a lot more. We gotta find out who's still together, who's not together.
Yeah, because that was the cliffhanger too. We didn't get to hear if Jay and Joy are together. We surmise.
I surmise that they are, but we could
be wrong.
We could be wrong. Could we? Are we? Y'all let us know. No, we could be wrong. But we get to see a lot of different things, how that shape out, and see if anybody else is in a relationship that might have blossomed because of the show. Hey,
I sure hope our boy Rashid got something out of it.
I think he got something out of it. I think there's some people that we know, but if anything, they got a lot of friendship out of it. They got friendship, they got connections out of anything, and it's a good group of people. 20 cast members don't know them personally, but just watching them over the last 12, 13 weeks.
Yeah, we got attached to them.
It's pretty good characters, so...
not characters.
Not characters, people. People.
And so we have our favorites.
You got some people with, favorites that we like. You have your favorites that you like. Well, let us know.
Yes.
Let us know in the comment section who are some of your favorites from this season of Ready to Love. Also, let us know... if you think Jay and Joy still together, Kalfani and Adriana still together, or did anybody else hook up? Or was Alicia pregnant while she was on the show?
We're not speculating that.
I'm not speculating that. I'm just curious. I just want to know what people think.
I don't think she will.
I'm not the only one that thought that.
I'm sure you're not.
I'm not the only one
I'm sure you're not. But thank y'all for joining us. Again, we're looking forward to the second part of the reunion for Ready to Love. So we want y'all to join us when we review that as well.
Yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. If you're into Married at First Sight, make sure you check out the link there and make sure you check it out. If you missed any of our reviews on Ready to Love, there's also a link to click on also. So make sure you check out Ready to Love. And we'll be back, same bad time, same bad channel next week with Ready to Love Reunion Part 2 review.
Bye.